All right, this is the Fox Weather Alert. We have a new tornado watch that's now been issued along the Mississippi River. It includes Memphis. It is south of St. Louis. St. Louis is not under the tornado watch, but Paducah is. I suppose it does include Little Rock, although I think Little Rock is probably going to end up fine from these storms. That's my gut instinct here, because these are all the buds of the storms that are about to become the tornado watch worthy storms, but they're going to take a little bit of movement to the east before they really mature fully. So I think probably the worst of the storms will end up a little bit east of Little Rock. But this is such an interesting situation that we have going on right now, because this line of storms, this was kind of the leftovers from last night that started farther off toward the west. I've been watching it all morning here, preparing for the show, and for a while it really didn't look like it was going to be that big of a deal. It's gone a pretty far length without having any severe thunderstorm warnings along it. But about hour and a half ago, the National Weather Service put out a tornado watch that's out ahead of it. And yes, you see the city of London, Kentucky. That is the city that just got hit by the high-end EF3 tornado back on Friday night. And this line of storms is starting to enter a part of the atmosphere where things are getting a little bit juicy. Now, the interesting thing is that this is actually not the main event of the day. There's going to be another batch of storms that forms out in that tornado watch that's farther toward the west that will eventually swing through this area as well. So this is batch number 1 of storms for you guys. And we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings along this. But when you look at the loop of this, there is one little bit of a concerning feature I'm seeing. So you see the line is generally moving from the southwest to northeast. Take a look out ahead of this line and you'll see a little bit of kind of inflow into it, okay? So you see this stuff that's getting kind of sucked into the front of it. Sometimes that can create some spin-ups, and when you look at the velocities on this, although we don't have any tornado warnings right now, there are some areas of some broad rotation here. I've been following this one that actually is just west of London. If that does hold together and end up producing a tornado, to me it appears that it would go north of town. And again, I'm not saying there are any tornado warnings right now, but again, you got these areas of some broad rotation up here down between Richmond and Conway. The Weather Service is watching these very closely. I'm not seeing anything right now that is screaming tornado at me. What I am seeing is a lot of straight line wind that could be damaging. So when we switch over to the base velocity, one thing you can do here, we'll put the loop on, you find the part of the storm that is moving directly toward the radar site, which is here in Jackson. And if you just kind of eyeball that, let me stop the loop here. It looks like it's a little bit southwest, so probably this part of the storm somewhere that's moving directly toward the radar. You can actually look at that and try to get an idea of what the wind's going to be like. Now, this is a little bit far from the radar, so this is not going to be perfect as far as what's going on directly at the ground, but we're thinking around 40 to 50 miles per hour right now, so we're somewhere close to severe. A severe storm would be up around 60 miles per hour or more, so these are just sub-severe storms. I would not be surprised if we see a severe thunderstorm warning or two go up along this line within the next I don't know, half an hour or so. It looks like it's really come together pretty solidly over the last half hour. So it's crossing I-75 pretty much as we speak. Again, there was a little area of rotation that's west of London, but it looks like it's going to skirt north of town if it holds together, and it's still not strong enough that it's producing any tornadoes. Now, farther off toward the west, we're starting to see what I usually refer to as, you know, the early buds of the severe storms. And actually, we have our first severe thunderstorm warning that is just south of Little Rock. And again, you can see the speed that these storms are moving at. So I think Little Rock proper, you're going to end up okay out of these storms because they're not really maturing until they get a little bit east of town here. But let me throw on the high resolution radar, and boy, I mean, look, it's one of these days where we got a lot of spin in the air. This is not a tornado warning, but what I am seeing is the shape of the storm. It literally just popped up. You've already got some very high reflectivity in here, which means that it's got a heck of an updraft. We're probably going to have some hail that ends up falling from that storm. And I'll peek at the velocities here. I don't imagine they look too bad quite yet, and no, they don't. This is just a little bit of radar interference here. But there's going to end up being some rotation in this storm. You can tell because it has that little hook echo at the bottom left of it. I'd imagine that's going to start looking more impressive pretty soon. And just all these storms that are popping up, you see they have that general look to them where you start to see that little appendage at the bottom left. And again, just with the experience, having done this for a while, when you see at the onset that the storms have these types of shapes to them, it does tend to be a little bit concerning as far as how bad it could be when they reach their full maturity.